Hey everybody, and here it is. Finally got around to doing it. Not as big of a scale as the video as I was planning on, but change of scenery is nice. And right away, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is part one of many of the 108 Challenge year in review. Quick recap. I've decided to challenge myself to start watching the WWE pay-per-views from the time I stopped watching until the time right before I just picked back up, which means from Backlash of 2005 to WrestleMania 29 in 2013. And this is 2005 in review. Did I go directly from beginning of 2005 to the end of 2005? No, because I had already seen those pay-per-views. I already know what had happened. I did go back and get a quick refresher just in case, but I'm talking about Backlash all the way through Armageddon of 2005. So, I wrote notes. So, 2005. What can I say about that year? I will say this, that I definitely picked a bad year to get out of wrestling. If I would have waited maybe a year, who knows, but I will say this. I got out roughly right after WrestleMania 22 or 21, sorry, and I remember the biggest matches of the night, obviously, were John Cena winning the Undisputed title from JBL and Batista winning the World Heavyweight title from Triple H. And from then on, we got some incredible matches from one of them. Anyone who's watching this who's a fan of professional wrestling, I don't need to say who. And to anyone who's being a smart mouth and they're like, oh, John Cena, you can just turn the video off because you've already failed. So yeah, I was thinking about maybe trying to rank them because it's 10 pay-per-views and I believe there were 14 of them in 2005. But I'm like, it's too difficult. But if I had to rate the top 3 pay-per-views of 2005, I would have to say probably SummerSlam, Vengeance, and I'll even go as far as saying the tie between No Mercy and Taboo Tuesday. So, going down the list, we have Backlash, Judgment Day, Vengeance, Great American Bash, SummerSlam, Unforgiven, No Mercy, Taboo Tuesday, Survivor Series, and Armageddon. I did not, if it's ECW or anything like that, I did not watch it because at the time I wasn't really into ECW, but that's not part of the challenge. It's WWE pay-per-views, and I know we can dispute rights and all that, but ECW for now is not technically in effect. It will be in effect in 2006 because that's when the brands start appearing on both shows. So 2005. It's a little early in the game to say this, but I gotta say, like, this has probably been one of the best years in wrestling that I've seen. I haven't had that much excitement since I'd say about 2000 to 2002. Not to say that there wasn't anything good in 2003 and 2004. I mean, you got, the rise of Brock Lesnar. You got Eddie Guerrero winning the Undisputed title for the very first time. We got some classic matches in there. But I'm focusing on Backlash through Armageddon for 2005. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, I've been nothing has gone below a 7 out of 10. Anyone who's following on Facebook, in the Facebook group that I post the pay-per-view reviews on, I haven't given anything below a 7. I've really been trying to focus on the positives as opposed to the negatives, because I feel that it's really easy to like constantly nitpick at something that's like, oh, well, that's not my preference. I'm like, well, here you got one thing I've really learned with doing these reviews is that they're never going to cater specifically to exactly what you want. So going into it assuming you're going to get 100% everything that you like and everything you dislike is not there, that's just extremely, that's aiming for the stars. But I haven't been disappointed. I've been very, very happy. 2005 has definitely treated me well, and I'm glad I started here. I was thinking about going back even further and just starting from 2000 all the way up again because I don't remember a lot of the matches. But I figure for now we'll do this. But anyway, most memorable matches out of 2005. We have Chris Benoit versus Edge in a last man standing match. One of the very few times I actually was watching a match where like hardcore rules were applied, where I actually believed that they were like causing serious damage to each other. Uh, Kurt Angle and Booker T, those two guys, I love watching them wrestle. Kurt Angle is one of the more entertaining people to watch. He's very rough. He's very tough. He's very technical. He's it's a difficult word to say. It's almost like he's very articulate in the ring with what he does. He knows what he's doing before he's doing it, and he executes it perfectly, nearly. And I say nearly because I don't believe anyone is 100% perfection. With Kurt Angle, I think is probably the closest, and maybe a few other people, but we will get to them when that time comes. Matt Hardy versus Edge in a steel cage match. That one right there was probably, I think, the highlight for Matt Hardy for that whole year. Although he did have a good tag match at Taboo Tuesday with Tatanka, which, by the way, who has one of the fiercest chops I have ever seen, next to Bret Hart and Chris Benoit, respectively. The entire Guerrero Mysterio feud, those guys had, I think, about 2-3 pay-per-view matches, and all of them were good. It all came to a head at SummerSlam in 2005, where they had the custody of Dominic on ladder match, which, you could have had a ladder match without involving children into it, but again, personal preference. Batista versus Triple H, the final of 3 matches between the two. Those two had an amazing chemistry together. Triple H really helped Batista, really had Batista elevate his game with those 3 matches. Shelton Benjamin, Chris Jericho, I believe that was Backlash, the very first pay-per-view. I think it was like the first match I saw, so that's probably why it ranks so hot, or ranks on these most memorable matches. Just Shelton Benjamin is just someone I've always enjoyed watching. The guy is the guy is an artist when he gets moving. I mean, his spinning kicks, his flips. He looks like he's someone who's very comfortable in the ring, very, very agile, and he's amazing to watch. And Chris Jericho is one of the most underrated wrestlers in all history. He doesn't get nearly enough credit for what he does. Undertaker versus Randy Orton in Hell in a Cell. This is probably the part of Randy Orton's career where the Undertaker really just kind of elevated him that much higher. Those two had an amazing feud, and this is a great way to end the feud. And one I didn't think of was the Ric Flair against Triple H in a cage match, also helping Ric Flair elevate his game to a whole other level as well. Every one of these matches, I like them for all different reasons. Do I have them ranked in any specific order? No. I tried, and I tried, and I tried, and guys, it was next to impossible to rank matches and pay-per-views best out of 10 or anything like that, because with 2005, there were so many good matches. Like, whatever I have written down here, that's the tip of the iceberg. That's how good 2005 was. I'm not putting down, like, the best out of 7 series with Chris Benoit and Booker T, or the feud that Christian was having with Jericho minus John Cena. Oh boy, give me a second. I'm trying to. Then there was oh geez, and I apologize. I'm like drawing a huge blank right now. And then of course, the up and coming talent, Big Show and Kane were tag team champs, and Hurricane and Rosie, watching them was good, and then watching Hurricane transition over into Gregory Helms, that was also really, really cool. Watching Ric Flair kind of like, it felt to me like he was regaining something back from his past. Like he gained a lot of viciousness, I should say, in 2005. And then of course you have Chris Masters, very underrated, very, very, very underrated talent. I feel like he was not given nearly enough of a push. Carlito, again, amazing, amazing talent in the ring. One of the more interesting heels. I won't say the best heels, but I'll say one of the more interesting heels. HBK, Shawn Michaels, he had some good matches with Kurt Angle and Masters, and And I believe he was in a match with Cena. Um, hmm. Now that I'm thinking of all these, going back, but you get the idea. Like there was a lot of potential. The tag team divisions were watching wrestling now and watching it back in 2005. I'm just like, tag teams, what happened to you? You know, you have Eminem. You know, obviously they're your heel tag team, but both of those guys are very skilled in the ring. Um, I was very excited to see when Nitro and Mercury broke off, but that it's not going to be happening until next year. So, how would I rate 2005 at a whole? Well, a better understanding of where it stands by the time this is done, but I will say that 2005, I'm going to give it a very solid. I'm going to give it 8.5 slams out of 10. It was that good. Which is, and again, I didn't rate anything below a 7, but I didn't rate anything above an 8. But as a collective, basically for everything 2005 had to offer, it had the most interesting storylines thus far. It knew how to wrap them up good, and it elevated people to where they needed to be. And it was, it was also the time where we saw Christian getting ready to cycle out, and he was finishing up. So, you know, it was kind of a bummer there. And this is the year we saw Eddie Guerrero pass away around fall time. So yeah, 2005. Can't get too much more articulate than that. I've been enjoying this very much as of right now. I'm about 20 pay-per-views into 108. I am about two-thirds of the way of 2006. It has taken me a little bit longer to get this video done. Just my schedule's been very busy this last week. I've been planning things for the Retro Game Con coming up in just over a week. There's just a lot of stuff going on. That and work and family, and me and my wife just celebrated our 4-year wedding anniversary. So just been a lot of stuff going on. So 2005 in review, I definitely give this. I'll give it a solid A right now. It's going to get an A. Not quite an A+, but when I get done with the whole thing and I grade each individual year again, I'm hoping to go back and give it that A+ rating, because I've been hearing that this is everyone's favorite year in wrestling. And guys, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. It's been a treat. It's been kind of annoying people because they're just like, "Can you talk about anything else?" I'm like, "What else do you want me to talk about?" I mean, it's like I'd rather just have my own thing right now than talk about what's going on with Gamergate or Ebola or rockets exploding in Virginia. I mean, not that any of those things are not important, but I just don't feel that I don't feel like I can put as much energy and knowledge into it that other people could. So respectively, if that's what you're doing, awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. But when it comes to the 108 challenge, that's what I'm doing. I think it's going good. If anyone else out there thinks, that was a really bad wink, by the way. Yeah. Anyone else has an opinion on it, feel free to comment in. The challenge is open to anyone else. So, yeah, with that being said, you all stay classy out there, and I will see you later.